America is still a nation where people believe in God.
Well,
so that makes sense.
I don't disagree with that. So how can you have? Well, let's posit for a moment that your hypothesis is correct, that somehow a conspiracy has been hatched in New York and Hollywood.
I don't think it's a conspiracy. A conspiracy implies, a group of people
coordination,
getting together in a room.
Right.
I think it's more of. I mean, what we encounter is, mass media groupthink. Whether it's the entertainment media or the news media, they basically think the same.
Right.
And we see the results of it, and this is how we know it's going on. We see the results of it in the decline, the numbers of people who go to church, the decline in numbers of people who believe in God.
Let me just
decades of that.
Maybe that's because churches are not, meeting the needs of their flocks. I mean, I can, speaking as somebody who, and I don't know how much I want to personalize this, but. Or how, frankly, I mean, I think one of the most important injunctions in the Sermon on the Mount was don't pray in public. In other words, don't be public about your religion. But I will say, I pray every day, literally. And it's an important part of my life. And it's been years since I've stepped into a church. Now, am I religious or not?
I'd certainly say you're religious. Are you part of an organized religion? Probably not.
I'm actually a member of I'm actually a member that tithes to an organized religion. Yes.
Okay. Well, good. But the point is, we know for a fact. I mean, you get advertisers on your show, and people pay good money to be on the Thom Hartmann.
But wait a second. Here, Dan. Let's just I've made this kind of public confession, I suppose. Let's take it to the next step. How does my watching a show that ridicules somebody's religious faith, and I think that you have to put some huge quotes around that, because I will make fun of people who say that the world is 6,000 years old and we need to teach that in our schools rather than teaching evolution, because I'm concerned that that's going to really set us back, in the science race, as for example. Or I would ridicule somebody who says that their religious faith says that women should be subordinate to men because it's in a book from that reflects the values of the Bronze Age. You just called me religious, and yet now, my having said that, you may say I'm anti-religious. I mean,
no, I think
where does this war begin and end, and why does it matter?
I mean, why does it matter? Because theoretically we have freedom of religion, which means and then what you have is a mass media that are actively.
We have freedom from religion too.
No, we don't.
No. The First Amendment and the Establishment Clause of the Constitution both really are more freedom from religion than of religion. They are freedom from the government picking a religion for all of us,
what you think it says,
and from imposing a religious test on people who are holding office. That's freedom from religion.
No, that's freedom from a specific religion, not. And remember, the founders had come from Britain, where you had one state-sponsored religion. It didn't mean that you should expunge religion from the public square, which is what the left and the media basically are pushing toward.
Wait a minute. Are you familiar with the history of the Pilgrims and of what's his name in England who ran the country for, as I recall, 7 years and Cromwell, and finally got kicked out? I mean, when the Puritans took over England and overthrew the king and outlawed dancing and singing and public drinking and all kinds of other things, the people finally said, "We want the king back," and those and started openly dissing the Puritans. And the Puritans got on a boat and came over here and set up shop, in Massachusetts. Now, this was after, of course, Jamestown. I mean, the first colony in America was economic. It was started by the East India Company. But the second colony in the United States, the Plymouth Rock colony, was started by people who wanted to have the freedom to oppress women, to burn witches, to require you to go to church every Sunday. You'd be dragged out of your house.
We're pushing other religious rights, and we are an amalgam of all those things. But to say that the Constitution.
No, but my point is that
says.
That the founders knew that. I mean, Massachusetts, there were large chunks of Massachusetts in 1787 when the Constitution was being written. And one of the reasons it was written in Philadelphia, by the way, was because that was neutral territory. You know, Philadelphia or Pennsylvania was more of a Quaker state than anything else. And
it was also between North and South. It was also convenient. I mean,
you could have said the same thing about New York City, but they didn't choose to do it there. But the point is that they definitely didn't want to do it in Massachusetts because it was still a theocratic state to a large extent. And the Massachusetts delegation was very upset about the Establishment Clause.
There were stricter competitions between the colonies North and South by landing somewhere in the Mid-Atlantic, which they did. They kind of minimized those divisions. I mean, but to go back to
they didn't minimize them at all, Dan. Freedom from religion won.
No, freedom of religion won. It's in the
both of them won.
Yeah, the left is going through and trying to recast what the Constitution says.
I'm finding lots and lots of people on the left who are, quote, religious. I mean, they might define their religion as being, far more.
But when they want to silence my religion, that's where we run into problems, and that's what's happening.
Well, I thought we agreed that children in schools should neither recite the Lord's Prayer nor bow to the Quran every day.
No, I said they shouldn't be forced to.
Right.
And I think
there's no law preventing them from doing it right now.